Well, welcome back to the show. It's lovely to always have a fiery start to the evening with you. Do you welcome this decision by the government? I guess this is not great news for human rights lawyers up and down the country, because if the government are saying, listen, we're going to change the rules, we're going to get around the ECHR, it may impact how much work you guys have.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously we don't, but I don't think anyone, is there anyone you've heard who is welcoming it? I mean, to be honest, I think it's, obviously, like we just heard, I mean, I think I agree with that. It's just, the desperate scheming of a desperate government. They have to bring something out. And obviously, the ridiculous, disastrous one in, one out, whatever that's supposed to mean. So after that, of course, the Justice Secretary had to write some column in the newspaper. And obviously, what better than vilifying foreign criminals again? Let's just go for that one again. But of course, I mean, even from what we can hear so far, like your guest just said, there's no detail really, but it just seems quite ridiculous, really. So, for instance, previously, at least we had the safeguard that said that the minimum sentence needs to be at least 12 months. So, okay, I mean, in this country, generally, we lock up far too many people for far too non-serious crimes for far too long.
Yeah, but Shoaib, do you agree that we should be deporting foreign criminals? Maybe let's just go back to basics on this. Do you agree that we should be actually cracking down on foreign criminals and sending them back to their country of origin?
Much less than than our governments try to send, and that's the point. I mean, now they, like I was just saying, they're even taking away the 12-month minimum. So that means someone gets sent to jail for 2 days and they'll be deported from the country. I think that's ridiculous. I'm not sure, does even Reform want that? Is there anyone sensible in the country who thinks that's a good idea? People who've been here for decades, their wives are here, children are here, families might be British, just for some reason they're not British. And that's another thing, I know we all talk about foreign criminals and we think about, people either coming over on small boats or others, but like the Windrush scandal told us, and so many others, there are literally people, and obviously we know these people who've been in the country for decades, their whole families are, but for whatever reason, personal,
but Shoaib, okay, let me just interrupt you for a second. I mean, because look, if you went to any other country around the world, this doesn't matter whether it's the UK, whether it's America, whether it's anywhere in the Middle East or China or Australia, if you commit a crime and you aren't a member of that society, you aren't a citizen of that society, well, the people there go, well, first of all, we've welcomed you with open arms. You've committed a crime in our country. You're not our problem. Our taxpayers shouldn't have to worry about putting you in prison. They just send you home. Now, surely that is not an unreasonable thing to... Every reasonable country around the world does this.
I mean, well, firstly, I mean, I don't agree that all countries do, but even those that do, of course, that's wrong, and that's the point. I'm not saying that we should be competing. I mean, with America, so many others who have completely inhumane prison systems and penal systems.
But we're talking about deportations, not so much the prison system. But perhaps we're just in many cases hang on, Shoaib, because the justice minister there was saying that we're going to just send them home straight away. We're not going to put them through the prison system. So you must be welcoming that as a human rights law. They're not. Many of them won't even serve terms in prison. We were talking about this the other day, and you were saying, well, some of their prison sentences are too long, and then they stay in prison even longer because they're foreign criminals. So now you're telling me that they should serve time here, are you? I'm really confused about where you stand on this.
Of course they should. And I've been saying that for ages. Whether it's other people...
Why should they serve time in this country? They should. Why should taxpayers pay for them to stay in this country? This is completely ludicrous.
Sorry, why are we assuming they're not taxpayers? I mean, people who come to this country, even if we talk about people who've been here short term, whether it's foreign students...
Why should citizens then? Fair enough, maybe some of them are taxpayers, you're right there. Hang on, because you're right, I want to concede there. Some of them will be taxpayers, you're absolutely right, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter, because they won't be taxpayers when they go to prison. The people who are taxpayers, who are law-abiding citizens of this country, will then have to foot the bill for them. Surely just that it's not that, don't go and abuse the nature of and the kindness and the goodwill of the country that's hosted you. I can't imagine ever going to a foreign country anywhere in the world, committing a crime, and then expecting the people of that country to foot the bill for me to stay in prison in their country.
Sorry, do you read the papers? Have you not seen the British people who go on holiday all over the world?
Yeah, I'm saying me. I condemn them. I condemn them as well, but they're deported back to the UK, usually.
Because they're on holiday. Not if they have, for instance, you have a Spanish wife and Spanish kids, and you've been in Spain for 5 decades.
Deport the British people back to Britain to serve time here, then. I don't care. If you commit a crime, and you're anybody, whether you're British, whether you're, I don't know, French or Afghanistani or Pakistani, I don't care. If you're not a citizen of that country, you commit a crime there, then go home.
But also the point is, I don't know, for instance, you and I, we get together in a criminal gang, we both commit the same offence, receive the same sentence. You're British, I'm not. Why should I then be deported far away from my wife and kids?
Because you're not British. Because it's not. Because if that was the case, Shoaib, then you're not a citizen of this country, and therefore it shouldn't be my burden to pay for you.
It's tough. Definition of discrimination. You serve one sentence. I serve two. First I go to prison, then I leave the country.
Well, but Shoaib, under this proposed scheme, you'll just go straight back to your country unless you've committed a terrorism crime or something very heinous, in which case I think you would probably be a danger to Britain if you were sent back home, because you might try and come back again. So actually, this rule sends you away from the country if you've not committed one of the most heinous crimes. But if you have committed a heinous crime, you will be kept here so we can keep an eye on you. Then you'll go home. So actually, I think that's quite fair. Do you not agree?
I don't agree, because like I just said, why? Why would you get to forget about double punishment? Why do you get a different punishment from me?
Because you're not a citizen of the country. You've abused the rights of the country you visited.
When it comes to the criminal justice system, that should make no difference.